lost. It's like a whole lot of love. Find me out and love can light the way. Got a dream, don't you, child? Memory will fade. The light parade.
Topher, what are you doing? We're supposed to start the show. Have you been medicating?
It's doctor's orders.
Look at this.
Look, I can't help the side effects.
Today on the Green Zone, we'll be answering the question, does cannabis cause weight gain? I'm Wendy Lovett.
And I'm Topher Kogen.
And we're here from the Green Zone TV at the Fayetteville Farmers Market. We had to get up real early, didn't we?
Yes, super early, like 8 and 9.
We are not a morning people.
No, but we will do anything we can to spread the word and get you in the green zone, right?
Absolutely. All right, let's see if we can get some people to talk to us. All right, so I'm Wendy from the Green Zone TV.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, and we're asking questions today at the farmers market about cannabis. Do you think that cannabis makes people gain weight?
No, I wouldn't have any reason to think it makes people gain weight.
All right, and so we're just asking people if they think cannabis makes you gain weight.
Well, am I on? I guess I am. I think if people smoke it and then it increases your appetite, that's the possibility.
You think that cannabis makes people gain weight?
No, I don't think so.
Thanks so much for joining me.
Okay, thank you.
This is Wendy Lovett.
And this is Topher Kogen. We're in the Green Zone.
Are you in the green zone?
Are we in the Green Zone?
We are. But how do we get in the green zone? How do they get...
How did they get in the Green
Yes.
Zone? Yes. Well, the Green Zone is where community, activism, science, and art meet cannabis.
There we go. And that's how you get in the green zone.
So everyone can get in the Green Zone.
Exactly.
Now let's see what science has to say about this very important question. Dr. Uma, it's so great to be here with you in the Green Zone.
Great to be here with you too, Wendy. Happy Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you, same to you. So Dr. Uma, I'd like to speak with you about the science behind whether cannabis causes people to gain weight. Because that's kind of a myth that people have, that, you know, it causes the munchies and they're just going to eat everything and gain weight. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, let's talk back a little bit. And let's talk a little bit about the endocannabinoid system, right? That's how cannabis works. And I see patients that can be overweight or underweight. And so I have patients from being anorexic to being morbidly obese. And yes, people do get the munchies, and we do want them to get the munchies and to have an increase their appetite. And other people don't want them to necessarily decrease their appetite alone, but we want them to be aware of what they're putting in their mouths. So patients are actually becoming more conscious of what they're eating. So when I talk about cannabis use and eating, I tell patients to be very much aware of rule number 1, which is hydrate before you medicate. Because a lot of times people are just putting things in their mouth for no reason.
Right.
And people are not hydrated well to begin with. And so the first thing that we tell patients is, number 1, hydrate before you medicate. And we always say start out low or very low and slow with food. So when people do eat, that they're eating the right things and not just eating munchies.
Right, right. Yeah, like having on hand, maybe some celery or carrots. And you made a really good point, because sometimes people are just kind of dehydrated and they think they're hungry, right?
Absolutely. And rule number 3 is journal. So one of the most conscious things we tell people is be aware, right? Rule number 1, awareness, along with awareness, becoming accountable. So once people realize that, well, maybe they are gaining weight, we see that with patients, that they're really not becoming conscious. So always with what I educate our patients to be, we want them to be better or the best, to developing behaviors. And if eating is a problem, choice and being committed to their choices. So don't bring in those in that. And you made a very good point about making sure that we have good, healthy choices available to them. So I always say hemp seeds. Hemp seeds is again from our plant cannabis as well. And hemp seeds has a lot of seeds in it. So it's got good fiber, and it helps you as a natural inflammatory. It's got the perfect omega-3 to 6 ratio. It's got 20 amino acids. 9 of them are essential, 9 of them are essential. And so making those healthy choices, carrots, celery, making sure the hydration is not just water, but maybe with a little lemon, lime, cider vinegar in your water.
Right.
And also, munchies is something that happens late at night as well. So a lot of people tend to smoke at night. So we say have some healthy snacks, apples,
Right.
maybe a small, even yogurt is very helpful. Applesauce.
Right.
Some of these small things that they can have, but making sure that they're healthy to a handful of nuts,
Right.
a handful of raisins.
Right.
All of this can be made available to you. But again, make sure it's just a handful,
Right.
not just a bag full.
Not just eat a whole bag, right? I know.
Exactly.
I mean, there's been times when I'm medicating and I feel that, strong hunger. So those are really good pieces of advice you can give to people, because it can cause that feeling, but we're still in control of our body, right? And that's really important for people to understand. So.
But you made a very good point. The myths, some of this are true. So we just need to be aware of the side effects, as I call it,
Yeah.
from consuming cannabis that you can have from nausea, vomiting, which is also the side effect some patients can experience with this. And you can offset a lot of these side effects by consuming a little bit. If you feel that overwhelming side effects of the munchies, having a little bit of CBD will offset it as well.
Right. And what about strain choice? Are some strains cause more of that hunger feeling and some maybe suppress it? I was reading something about that.
Absolutely. Strains to talk about is indica. And again, looking at those strains for different individuals, and this is what I've realized with every patient. They're different.
Yeah.
And just because you get blue drink one day and that makes you hungry or makes you not hungry one day, look at the percentages of the profile, because the same strains can vary from store to store, and it can vary from the same vendors. Depending on what part of the plant that you get the same strain, it can have a different percentages. This is where looking at the labels and understanding how it affects you is very important.
Right. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today about this subject. I really appreciate it. And I know our viewers really want this information. We're busting myths, Dr. Uma.
How many times has this happened to you?
Oh, I could really go for some Chips Ahoy. Oh, and Oreos. And pizza. Oh my gosh. Doritos. I want some Doritos. Doritos. Oh yeah. Yeah, I gotta go to the store. Yeah, definitely.
Then you run to the grocery store and pile up on junk food.
Yes.
Now, with the Green
Hey,
Zone
Google.
vape pen that syncs to your Google Home or Amazon Alexa, you can enjoy your cannabis medicine and get helpful information to healthy eating.
Hey Google, what are some healthy snacks I could eat?
I found 29 on the website healthline.com. Here are the first 3. Mixed nuts. Nuts are an ideal nutritious snack. Red bell pepper with guacamole.
Thank goodness for this Green Zone vape pen because I can medicate and eat healthy.
The Green Zone Sinking Vape Pen. Get yours today. Please note this vape pen is not available in any city, state, or country. This is a work of fiction. Please do not send money, but you can support us on Patreon.
Is that food on your face?
Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. In this week's Activism segment, we talked to Rikki Butler.
Rikki is a member of the West Virginia Women for Cannabis. Let's learn what's going on in West Virginia. Welcome to the Green Zone, Rikki.
Hello.
So you are a member of the West Virginia Women for Cannabis, and tell me a little bit about that group.
Okay, we are a group of women, West Virginia Women for Cannabis. We recently formed. We actually want to try to advocate to healthier alternatives to, I guess, opioids or narcotics and antidepressants by pushing medical marijuana.
Mm-hmm. Bringing forward the natural medicine, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about why you felt the need to form this group. I love it that women got together in this powerful, empowering way to get something accomplished. So what brought you to the decision to get started with this group?
We've been following the legislature, particularly the Senate Bill 386, which was passed last year. That's our medical marijuana bill. But this year, the House had decided to amend it, and it became House Bill 4345, and it would have expanded the amount of growers and processors and dispensaries. And somehow that bill mysteriously disappeared once it made it to Armstead, our Speaker of the House. And he claims he didn't receive it. However, the Senate claims, especially Senator Ojeda and a few other in the southern counties of West Virginia, that in fact it was turned in. However, he still claims it wasn't received. So it was basically shut down until the sessions reopen.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, does this happen a lot with like government? I mean, because it doesn't really sound like like completely legal because like you all said, it was passed and it was like, pushed on through and he was like, oops, I lost it.
How does that happen?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it'll sit in limbo, if you will. Basically, it is not illegal. It's unethical in my sense, but it isn't illegal. And they'll just recall it up the next sessions when they begin again next year. But that's the problem. If they keep doing that, then it will never get handled. And here recently we learned that our Governor Jim Justice had actually cut the money and the funding to the medical marijuana program. So it has no money at all. So the program is basically just an outline with no teeth.
Wow. So there's no funding and they've misplaced the bill. Mm-hmm. Is there legal medical cannabis in West Virginia? Does anyone know?
As of July 1st, 2019, we're supposed to start up with the dispensaries, and those people are trying to procure those licenses. And unfortunately, as long as the program keeps being stalled, then it isn't going to happen at the projected date that they are saying, which would be July 1st, 2019. So no and yes.
Right. So the Women for Cannabis have started a petition. Tell us about the petition.
Yes, we want a special session. We want Governor Justice to hold a special session, which they could pull up and discuss the bill. And there's been talk about him calling a special session on other matters within the state. So it would be okay and feasible if he would go ahead and call a special session for all those matters, including the medical marijuana bill. And by having 3/5 of the House members urging him, that's all it would take for him to actually hold a special session. That decision is on Governor Justice, but being backed by 3/5 of the House is an overturn.
Wow.
Yeah. We would like that petition. We would like that petition It isn't that, and it can't legally push him to get a special session for this bill, but it would show the demand from the people, just how loud we really want the medical cannabis to pass.
Right. Power to the people, definitely,
Right.
So how can people get in touch with your group?
Right now, we are on Facebook. There's an actual page. It's West Virginia Women for Cannabis, and it has the petition there. And then we have a group where we'll add members in, and that's where we'll get those members where we can kind of gather strength in numbers, reflect ideas, and how we could advocate positively with educating the public, kind of steering away from that gateway drug aspect into the, nature's remedy.
Yes, absolutely. And Rikki, on a personal note, I understand that you have a podcast that you do. How can people find that podcast?
My podcast actually is 304 BB Hits Gym in the Mountain, and we discuss a lot of these issues locally in the state. And we actually do interviews and stuff like that with some of the politicians. But it's on Spreaker.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, Reverb Nation, and those platforms.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Politics in general and jobs that don't pay enough, 40-hour work weeks, books full of boring stuff, schools that should teach but kids don't learn a thing. These are a few of my least favorite things. Healthcare that won't heal and how people treat the earth, paying tolls and taxes, disbelief in self-worth, bitter cold winters that cut into spring. These are a few of my least favorite things. Religions that claim they're true, don't get me started. Standards that double and people cold-hearted. Judgment and bias when freedom don't ring. These are a few of my least favorite things. All the lying, all the killing, when I'm depressed and sad, I add that to all of my least favorite things, and then I feel really bad. Thanks for tuning in to The Green Zone. Jory Costello out.
Gotta push up in my blood, gotta ham up in my bones. Bitch, you best to hit this shit, we smoking all night long. Gotta perp up in my joint, got the cookies on my dab. Smoke them back to back, so we gon' need another slab. Take your medicine and get right. 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 I've been dead the picture for all my life. It's not black or white. I bring truth to life. So take your medicine and get right. Take your medicine and get right. Thinking marijuana, I'm get a day from it. This is coming back. I get on time of the spring with the purple and the cold. I'm about to get a brain. You said never want to smoke, but then I thought I'd have a blaze. I refused to live my first blunt. I was a rookie, man. I can't run. I was paranoid, apart, overjoyed that I could experience this once. Everybody throwing vibes, so we picking up a dub. We know we getting good, cause we coolin' with the plug. Cause he got it from his cousin who was brothers with the blood. So I had to come and Dutch, cause I wanted to club anticipation all in the air. Ignoring what they taught me in care. I was passing L, and I got high as hell, but definition no longer a square. Gotta push up in my blood, gotta ham up in my bones. Bitch, you best to hit this shit, we smoking all night long. Got the perp up in my joint, got the cookies on my dab. Smoke them back to back, so we gon' need another slam. Take your medicine and get right. 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 I've been fed the fiction for all my life. It's not black or white. I bring truth to life. trip. Third eye be open, my spirit floating, but the third eye can space is high grip. Through a lot of work, I learned to cultivate my medicine. It's like everything has a reason and a service better. It's time and on myself, so I guess I better get it. Fighting prohibition is a battle that we better win. Making history proud. My music and my weed loud. Taking damn good damn, but I'm alive and glad that I'm hidden in the fucking clouds now.
Hi, my name is James, and I have a cannabis confession for you. Prohibition does not work. Over the next 2 years, states like Washington will rake in over $700 million. Colorado has already taken in $500 million in tax dollars from the legal sale of cannabis. This money is going to fund things like schools, drug treatment, law enforcement training, and more public health services. Now, I'm not a big fan of tax and regulate, but I gotta ask you, where's your money going? Prohibition doesn't work.
Till next time, live into your greatness.
Stay elevated.
Be informed.
Stay in the green zone.